I've got this hopper back on, and now we come up with a problem of this large chute going on there, and the flange is plastic. I don't know why they would do such a thing, because if if this flops out of the way for any reason, you could put your hand right in there and lose fingers in a hurry. I think that would be a safety recall. I think they should have done this part with a excuse me, a metal flange going around there. So we're going to try to make something. This piece of plastic broke here. Probably won't hurt too much, but let's get some kind of metal flange made up. So bringing this out here, looking at it, this outside shield, there's two separate parts because this swivels, and there's a crack in this all the way up. So it's a really poor design. This should have been recalled and repaired, replaced with aluminum, or make a ring, replace all the plastic parts here, and then put a ring, metal ring reinforcement to make sure it stays together. I wonder how many people got their fingers hurt. I think what I was going to do is take my plastic weld kit there, that cheap thing, and I was just going to spot them two together and then cut them off. I think that would keep that together. I can still do that. But this plastic's tore out here, here, there, pretty much every one of them. Some of these parts are obsolete, and some of them are big dollars. I think that chute was $2.90 or something. Who would do that? Nobody. So I'm going to try to repair this. I'm going to get some sheet metal parts, something out here. Wish I could actually weld plastic. And then to tighten this crack up, I wonder if I could drill through that, put a bolt, and see how that sucks it together. Do something like that. Make it look factory, you know, by putting one on both sides maybe. But I'll work on that. Probably won't film it because I don't exactly know what I'm going to do with it yet. Well, I don't know if it's the right thing or not, but I took these bolts out and these two bolts out. Left this side connected together. And then I see there's a crack there and the bolt is backwards. I bet this whole thing's been apart before. And then now I can get to this crack side so I can do a repair without hurting the inside part. And now you can see the shoulder on this that I might be able to tighten together. And then I just basically need a reinforcement where it bolts together. So if I use just a flat piece, I don't really need to make a whole metal ring around this. But let's see what I can come up with. Alright, so that unit bolts up to this. There's a double hole, single. Probably the easiest way is this flange here. Probably keeps it from falling inward. I don't know. What would be the object of it? I don't know. But keep debris away from it maybe. Anyways, I think what I'm going to do is a hard one to make is this one. Why don't I make a template using, you know, just a piece of cardboard, and if I can figure out which way this goes. A broken piece was on the right hand side and the top. I could take the top possibly and rotate it. I don't know what the difference of this is. It looks the same both ways, right? It does. It doesn't look like there's a top or a bottom. But I could probably mount it any way I want it. But it was on like this. And if I go and I want to make a bracket to fit in here to cover this up, I got to make that curve. And like I said, I could put a bolt in here and that would keep that tight too. Because you're putting your hand on this plastic on the handle and pulling the machine around, and that's way too rough on a piece of plastic. So I think what I'll do is I'll just come up here like this, make a mark, and if it doesn't make a mark, it did, I'll cut them out. I got a little hole punch, I'll cut them out, and then I'll make a template. I took that hole punch, punched them out, and then see how close they are. Could be a little bit larger, but that's all right. There, we got that on there. Now, we know what the circle's going to be right now. So I can take that and cut that out. Put it a little bit larger, you know. And then take a look at our part. If it mounts that way, that looks fine. And then I would just have to make my, whoops, got the wrong one. Got to make my inside curve, probably cut this tip off, make it look similar. On the inside, we got to get rid of anything in here. Can't have it interfering. This is probably can be clipped just a little more. Then I can take that aluminum, because it's a softer metal, and I can just grind on it probably. Something like that. And then if we set it on our part where it's broken out, we'll have to know where the plastic is. So I'll go ahead and snap this on there. I'll mark that out. I'll cut it. When I like that template, I'll probably make two of them. One for both sides, one for the top and one for the bottom. This thing will be strong. Alright, I made one that looks like this. Fits on both sides. Goes right on there. Clears. So I have to make that shape, two of those. Then I took half of that and made one that looks like this. It would probably be better if I took the same thing, made four of them, made the center slot a little bit larger, and set it over both of these. Let me see what the bottom is like. Hi, Lucky. And then it's a lot more work. Not sure if it's necessary. Definitely would be better design, but a whole metal ring would be awesome. Or a split half ring would be awesome on both sides. But I think a single one would be fine on this. And let me make them on that aluminum. I got all these pieces drawn out on this aluminum. And I got a cutoff wheel and a Ryobi here. And I'm thinking if I can do most of this in the vise, be a lot easier and not get too hot hanging on it. The vise, I took off that old bench, but I don't have it remounted yet. So I have to deal with this right now. I need a little more time to do my projects and spend it out here and get this thing back in order, somewhat of order. Alright, so I'm just going to cut on my line. See if it works. I probably have to clamp this down. It works good. It's a little slow. I could probably put that on the grinder, the bench grinder, but I want to cut these parts out. And let me see if I can cut my curb. Not really. I don't really like using these cutoff wheels because they shatter sometimes. Try to get my face shield on and gloves because she's warming up. But it is cutting on that line. It's going to take a lot longer. This is a 4.5-inch grinder. My Makita's a 4-inch. I've had that for 30 years, and I don't have any cutoff wheels for that. I'd like to upgrade and get the carbide or diamond wheel, because that's supposed to last 30 times longer than these anyway. I don't like these to have to shatter on you. This is pretty thick. You see how thick that is? That's full, at least 1/8 inch. It's aluminum, so it should work good. Let me get some better tooling out. Okay, there's my little collar pieces. They should work awesome. Now, when I go to tighten a nut up on it, it's pressing on metal and not plastic, so it won't chew that off. And now what I got to do is put this barrel assembly back together and then put it up on here. Or I guess I can go ahead and bolt this on here first and do the barrel second. Okay, so here's the brackets that I made, and I just spray painted them black. I was going to cut that curb, but that abrasive stuff kept hitting me in the face. We got out a handful of washers we don't need. We got washers and nuts on every one. Remember, we fixed that flail inside there, so now they come through the grate. That should grind them up good. We got to have one more of these handles that I got somewhere. I'll hunt that up. All this is back together. If you want to look on this side, this is where it was cracked. Gotta get down close. This is what we repaired and put them welds in, those wire welds. Here's a rubber feet I put on it, fixed this plate. I'm going to take it outside and see if it sets there good. We got this barrel back together. This drops down nice. And that goes back. See that? It's supposed to go up and click, just like that. Watch this. So that works now, and it didn't before. And then, see, this is the handles where you move it around. Remember, we sharpened the blades, but you grab right onto this plastic. No wonder it was busted out. So this looks 100% better down through here. You can't tell it was broken. The next thing we're going to move up to is, oh, we took this chute off, put that back on. We replaced this bolt that was missing. The next thing we got to work on is look in the gas tank here. She's like, you gotta get the light up there a little better. She's like almost bone dry. So it had fuel in it. So you look down here and this bowl is leaking. So we're gonna take this bowl off and find out what's going on and see if that sounds good. Might have to take the carb off. I'm gonna try to take off just the bowl. Maybe the gasket's no good. Maybe it's a little loose. Tire might be in the way to do a good job. Might have to take that off. But we're getting pretty close. I want to change the oil in it. I want to fix the fuel leak. I want to get it to start on its own without squirting anything in there. So we're getting close.